Hey guys, I'm Tim.
And I'm Dan.
This is the Board Game Rundown. This week, we've got like this much news. I don't know how much we've got in Kickstarters.
We'll see.
But then we got a top 5 that I'm very excited about.
Yep.
And just so you know, mine is going to be way better than Dan's.
I actually won't even argue that. This was a very difficult top 5 for me to do. I don't know why. It was like I could have it could have been easy, right? I could have just wrote down things I liked, which is what I did anyway. But
Sure.
but like to actually have an explainable one, I feel was difficult.
And that's
for
your
me.
fault.
Sure.
That's
I
your
can't
fault.
explain things.
No. Well, sure. Okay.
Okay.
So first, in news. Just a tiny little thing I thought was interesting. So initially, board game publishing companies as a whole had sort of reined back releasing a bunch of games.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Right? Because of COVID and lack of conventions. Now there's going to be online conventions. They're going to still time up releases with some of those. But Asmodee, like Fantasy, they own Fantasy Flight and some of the other, every other company just about, has now decided that this starting in June, this month, they are going to start like just pumping out games.
Oh, okay.
And it's almost like, I don't know, I'm assuming it's because, hey, there's no competition. Let's just put a bunch of stuff out because then people will buy that up. So it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds.
And are these some games that their release dates have already been backlogged? Like, so that, or is it games that we're going to release later, but they're pushing them forward?
I think it's stuff that they initially were going to delay and then decided, you know what, we're not going to delay that.
Okay, yeah.
And it ranges from like things for X-Wing, you know what I mean? Like
Sure.
other Zombicide stuff, whatever. Or not Zombicide, that's wrong company.
Wow.
Right. But so that's like the little bit of news.
Yeah,
Just
sure.
watch for some of that.
I have some really exciting news.
Do tell.
So we mentioned that Terraform Mars Big Box is coming.
Right.
They released the first image of it. It looks incredible.
Does it? I haven't looked at it yet.
It looks incredible.
Oh my gosh. There's too much. So there was like this nice period of time on Kickstarter where I was like, I'm okay. I'm okay. And then like Dark Tower and what's that one where you're building Rome? Like came out at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
I know what you're talking about.
right?
But
Like, holy smokes. And then there was like this nice little break. And then like Frosthaven and 4 other Kickstarters that I really liked came out at the same time. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And then there was like a tiny little break.
and then Nemesis hit the scene.
Nemesis hit the scene, which I can wash my hands of because I have other friends that are
everyone you
getting
know
it,
is getting
and I
it.
don't have to. And I'm that's a mantra that I'm
Lucky
just
man.
reminding myself.
Yeah.
I don't have to.
Don't have to. You still should.
I don't have to. I look in the mirror and I say that like every day. You don't have to get Nemesis. Just relax. And I'm like, but maybe.
Yeah.
No, don't have to. But there's Nemesis. One of the ones I want to talk about again, Kemet, Blood and Sand. Did you see they hit a stretch goal where now there is a Cthulhu monster?
Nice. Nice. No, I haven't been watching it because, as previously stated, I've never played Kemet and it didn't interest me.
Sure.
So this one is like, I'm glad people are happy.
So the cool thing, I will just get into this little thing about Kemet and then we can move on. The cool thing about the Cthulhu one is they can actually justify it. Because there is a character in the Cthulhu mythos, Nyarlathotep, the Dark Pharaoh, whatever, however you want to pronounce it. He is technically, like, in the lore, has appeared as an Egyptian pharaoh, like in the past. And he's also like a herald, of the gods. So, obviously, there's a Nyarlathotep.
So it's
figure.
just him, at least so
there's
far?
Cthulhu too.
Okay.
But I was like, okay, that makes
Sure.
sense. If you
Well, he brought his friend along.
if you dig deep enough into the lore,
Yeah,
it
cool.
makes sense. It's there. So that's one of my 2 Kickstarters. You got any?
Oh, yeah, I guess you went straight into that, huh?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
We're just
I want to start really quick with just the backlog Kickstarters that are going to be ending this week. I wanted to do that, right? So, or at least close enough to this week because of when this video will come out. So, first of all, Nemesis Lockdown only has 10 days left. This might be the last time we talk about it, although we will probably mention it
it
week.
will never be the last time we talk about it.
Kemet
Yep.
has 9 days left.
Yep.
So, Kemet Blood and Sand, 9 days left. Tiny Epic Pirates
Yep.
and Sheol,
Sheol.
however you say that, both have about 70 hours left.
Yeah, I was going to say like
so
2 days, right?
ending this
Maybe 3
week.
days?
Yeah, on both of those. So by the time this video comes out, it might honestly be ended. But like we mentioned last week, you can late pledge and stuff if you're interested in those.
Looks really good.
It looks so good. You finally checked it out then, huh?
I did.
Yeah, it looks good.
I checked it out after Spencer talked about it. I'm like, you jerk.
I mean, we both talked about it, Tim, but that's cool.
I wanted to give Spencer credit.
Yeah, that makes sense. You know, he's here in spirit.
In spirit.
But those are the 4 backlog that are ending this week. So then one that is a real one that I'm really excited about. Okay. I don't know if you saw this. Merchants of the Dark Road. Did you see that?
Nope.
It looks so good.
Really?
It looks so good to me,
Is it a safe?
It is. It is funded. Yes. Okay. It is safe.
Okay.
So Elf Creek Games, which made Atlantis Rising, evidently, which people love.
Okay.
So that's nice. People like that game. 1 to 4 players, 60 to 120 minutes. The basic premise is the world has fallen on dark times. I have a quote here from it. They say, "The lantern may fade, but the coin still shines." Okay. So the world has fallen on dark times, and you play as a bunch of merchants who kind of brave this dark world because goods still need delivered places and stuff.
Sure.
So the board seems to be split in half, where the left side is like a town, and there's like a rondel action selection thing that you go around in your in your little caravan.
Yep.
And you kind of move dice around. You collect. I love it. On your player board, there's like the classic video game like a dungeon crawl or whatever, where you have like a 5x5 square board, and you get gear that is like, the sword is 3 squares, so that you put that in your inventory and it fills up that grid. You know,
you have to Tetris.
Yeah, I love that inventory system. It's such a nice classic video game thing.
Sure.
And so you're filling up your caravan with goods, and there's these dice you have, and depending on the dice, and if the dice are lit or something like that, will depend on the places you can go on the board.
Okay.
And anyway, you're preparing your caravan. Everyone's preparing your caravan, and then you go on the right side of the board, which is like the dark, the outside of town, and then you're going around delivering stuff and getting money and stuff. I honestly didn't go too much into that. I think at least that I saw yet. But it just looks really cool. 1 to 4 players. Already said that. 19 days left.
That actually sounds really cool.
Yeah, I love the look of it. The art style is honestly the biggest thing that grabbed me.
Sure.
I love the look of this game.
Because the way you described it, I thought maybe this was based on like some kind of IP that you loved previously.
No.
Initially. I'm like, what IP is that?
It's just a mixture of the art style and the theme.
Sure.
Grabbed me.
I'm going to have to look at it because that sounds kind of neat.
$49 for the base, which is pretty good, and then $125 is all in, and of course it's because there's so many upgrades to like 3D printed pieces and stuff instead of the tokens and everything.
Right.
January release date. It just looks awesome. I love
really neat.
The look of that game.
Sounds really neat.
And very reasonable price too. So
yeah, $50,
I'm excited.
Not bad.
Yeah,
not bad. My last one is Hero.
Of course,
the card game.
Yep.
Because it's still got like 2 weeks left.
Yep.
It's 274% funded. It's safe for Dan.
Yep. I like it.
It's cheap because it's just cards, very easy. I got another one I thought of while we were talking about, speaking of safe Kickstarters. There was a successfully and then failed Kickstarter a couple years ago that our friend Pete was involved in. It was the Evil Dead 2 Kickstarter. It funded big time. Then the company that was making it, and they,
I didn't know that's what happened.
In a bad way. Like they misspent money. They spent the money they got for the Evil Dead Kickstarter to work on their next Kickstarter and not investing it in the game production.
Yep.
And then they tried to hold another Kickstarter for Evil Dead 2 again because it's like, oh guys, we're short on all these production costs. So like, please invest again. And that failed miserably.
Yeah, understandable.
Then somebody else came in, thankfully, and basically bought the rights and everything for that game. Had a different Kickstarter, I forget, might have been for Terminator, like some version of the Terminator IP. Anyways, they said if they hit so much money that they will finish the production for Evil Dead 2 and send it to all the backers of the original Kickstarter, and all the backers have to pay a shipping. So Pete, our buddy Pete, he's supposed to get his copy on Monday, and I've got friends in Indy that have already been getting their copies. Like, so I've seen pictures of it on Facebook and everything. Super excited to play it because I love Evil Dead. I'm a big Bruce Campbell fan.
Hope it's worth the wait.
Oh my gosh, it probably isn't.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say,
as long as it's good. Yeah.
But at least those people now have that game in their hands, or will have that game. So that's what I got for Kickstarter. It's pretty light.
I got one more little small one called Dice Miner.
Okay.
So I just like the little idea.
Is that an underage die? Okay.
Anyway, it's by Atlas Games. 1 to 4 players, 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay.
Also funded. But I just like the look of it because it's basically the whole game is just dice drafting and building up combos, and then you get points and you win. So it's just a super simple little game. There's like a little 3D mountain, and you drop like the dice lay on there, so they're stacked.
Okay.
And then you purchase the dice, but you can only buy the ones that are like on top or on the sides if you do a special thing. So you dig down to get the better dice. And so I have written here, so there are treasure dice that double your score.
I like treasure.
Magic dice, they just say save you or push your luck. I'm guessing the saving comes from the hazard dice, which causes dragons and cave-ins.
Right, and then the push your luck. So, right, okay.
Sure. And then tools say they help you out of bad situations.
Sure.
Yeah. And then the last one, the tunnel dice, it just says straights get you score. Because they're basically D6s, but that one is like no special symbols. The other one has special symbols. But there's D6 and then there's like a beer. And the beer I know you can pass around to other players to be able to take like 2 dice on your turn instead of 1 or something, but then you're giving them more dice for their straights because every round you are rolling all the dice you've collected.
Sure.
And getting the combos out of them and stuff. But it's just a really cool dice pool
sounds kinda neat.
collection.
Sounds kind of
I just like games where you roll 20 dice, man.
It's that old D&D, old school Star Wars RPG where it's like just fist full of die you're just chucking. Yeah.
I love that. So yeah, it's just a cool little theme. They were like, I really want to roll a bunch of dice that have cool symbols on them. What theme can we do? with
I
that?
actually really want to check that one out too. 'Cause that sounds pretty cool. That sounds pretty fun.
But Dice Miner,
Dice
like mining dice.
Not underage dice.
To answer your question.
Because there's beer and you really don't
beer.
want the
so
dice miners.
literally can't be miners there.
Right. It's dangerous and irresponsible.
Okay.
Why'd you bring that up? That's terrible.
I didn't.
Let's
move on.
Let's move on. So, this week's top 5.
Yep.
Boom, boom, boom. Yep. My idea.
Yeah, his idea. Finally,
I had an idea. I was really excited about it. It's and it can go in a million different directions.
Yeah, which is why it was so hard for me.
Sure. Just to like zero in on
to find the passion.
Specific ones. But these are the top 5, our individual top 5 intellectual properties, IPs, that need games or maybe a reprint.
Sure.
So like, if you would have asked me this 2 years ago, I might have said Dune is in there, right? Because Dune came out in 78, was 77, 78, was really hard to get a copy of. Supposedly this great game, but then it got a reprint last year, came out at Gen Con. I have it, haven't played it yet, but I'm excited.
Classic.
Right. Typical.
Cool.
So these are top 5 IPs that we feel like need a game or maybe a reprint.
Or I don't even know if I would say need a game. This is just a game I'd like to play.
Oh, sure.
Like that's
absolutely. It is these are all definitely games that I would want to play. And do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I'll go first. This is in no order.
Okay.
Whatsoever.
Oh, sure.
I have no order here. So the first one, I'm going to start with this one because you can actually help me with this.
All right, I'm ready.
I'm putting you on the spot to throw ideas at me.
I live on the spot, man.
So I want a game. Preface with saying some of these probably already have games in that IP.
I can't wait to smack you down on this one.
And I'm just going to say I've never seen it before, haven't played it, and obviously it's not very good.
Sure.
So, Blade Runner. I'd like to see a game in the Blade Runner universe where people are playing as Blade Runners. Now, I look at this as my basic idea for this. I tried to think of a basic game mechanic that I want in the game. Not like the entire game and what it would look like, but a basic game mechanic. So I really like the idea in Blade Runner of having some other people not know if they are replicants, right? And so they might be going towards a different goal. The thing that I came up with for this that I think would help build tension with the thing is honestly super simple game mechanic of the good cop, bad cop type games.
Okay.
To where everyone just has 3 cards in front of them. And so not only can you try to find out if other people, in the middle of this actual board game, I'm saying, not just a little card game, in the middle of this actual game, one of the actions can be look at a person's card, but then you can also choose to look at your own card.
I was going to say, maybe you can look at only one of your own cards and you've got 3.
You're like doing detective work and trying to figure out if you're a replicant, you know?
I like it.
I like that idea of Blade Runner universe. So humans are trying to capture the replicants or something, right? Bring them in while the replicants are trying to be free and even maybe do Fight Club type mayhem or stuff. Rutger Hauer power type stuff, you know?
Yeah,
he's not a
tears
horrible
in the
guy,
rain.
but like,
He just wants more life.
yeah, but he went around it not the best way, you know?
Well,
is the thing.
If you say grabbing someone by their skull
Yes.
and like pushing in their
Yes.
eyes with your thumbs
Yes.
is not the best way,
Then we can't be friends.
no, I think you have a point.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. But yeah, so I like that hidden role Blade Runner type game. I want a real game out
No,
of it.
but I love the idea that the role is so hidden you don't even know what your role is.
I
love that.
That's the whole thing I based the game on, honestly, was like that good cop, bad cop, but you don't know what you are either.
So when you're going to look at somebody else's card, what's the name of the test that they apply?
Oh, I don't remember.
But you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about. The test.
I'd
You
have
see a
to-
turtle on its back in
Yeah,
the desert. What do you
exactly.
do? You know, kind of thing. So that when you play that card, you get to look at somebody else's thing, right? Because
Yeah.
it represents that test.
Exactly. It
that you're
represents one
conducting.
answer, right? So you're
Right.
not sure. You're like, that answer was leaning towards, replicant,
Right.
but I'm not sure yet. That kind of
Right.
thing. Yeah.
That's
I like that.
fantastic. I like the idea, man. All right. All right. My first one is going to be obscure. And that's fine because
I've never heard of obscure.
While this is one of my favorite things, and if it was like a well-known intellectual property, I would have it way higher on the list. But because it's not as well-known, I put it at 5. But I couldn't leave it alone.
Sure.
So there is a series of books called The 9 Princes of Amber. Amber is like this core universe, this core world, and everything ripples out from it, okay? All realities.
Okay.
And they are called the shadow. Our Earth, our current world, is one of those shadows. So when something dramatic happens in Amber, which is the core world, it ripples through
yeah.
the shadow,
Cool.
right? So when a famous leader, dies or there's an assassination attempt in Amber, JFK dies here,
Okay.
right? So like that whole kind of thing. And so the 9 Princes of Amber, there's basically the king, Oberon, had all these kids, disappears. And nobody knows who's in charge or what to do. And so immediately all of his children start trying to kill each other for control
And there's 9
of the throne.
of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's
I'm really good.
9. And they're not all necessarily boys. There's some girls in there too. So,
Misleading title.
well, 9 princes and princesses of Amber is
9
really
heirs
dumb.
of Amber. Just
Right.
saying.
So the whole series overall is called The Chronicles of Amber. And it's really also another interesting point is that the opposite of Amber, which is order, there is the chaos world. And so chaos is also like vying for control and disruption and things like that. There's a whole bunch of other stuff in this
Sure.
story. Like that's just the very, 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 very basic bit of it. But you can make a game of this where you're all the 9 princes, you're trying to get influence, you're making deals because everybody's like teaming up and then stabbing each other in the back. There's a ton of intrigue.
Yeah, I was gonna say honestly, the way the universe is explained makes me sound like a Dune style game.
It kind of is.
Yeah, is what would really fit that universe.
It kind of is.
So.
But I love the story. The stories are amazing because there's all of this treachery and backstabbing and you don't know who to trust and you think you can trust this guy, but like really this guy was trying to have this other guy killed the whole time. It's amazing. So good. So and it's based on a series of books by an author named Roger Zelazny. Mm-hmm. Fun fact, Roger Zelazny, George R.R. Martin, and a bunch of other fantasy writers were all in the same D&D group.
Wow.
So they all kind of like, worked with each other on characters. They did
Yeah.
another series of books called Wild Cards. Have you heard of Wild Cards?
No.
So Wild Cards, this would have also been a good game and maybe a better one.
Another 6 for Tim.
Right. So George R.R. Martin had this idea because he played D&D with all these other fantasy writers and sci-fi writers. So he had this idea that there's this alien virus that gets detonated in the sky over New York City in like the 40s. 40s. Everybody that is exposed to this virus, something really bad or really great could happen to you. You could turn into, so it's called wild cards. So if you drew an ace, you got superpowers. Like you could fly, you could turn invisible, you could read minds, things like that. If you drew a joker, you became like deformed, but you may have powers, right? Like, so maybe you grew like an elephant trunk, but you might also have super strength, but you're really ugly. And then if you drew like a black queen, you died.
All the
Horribly. So what George R.R. Martin did was he got all of his friends and said, here's this universe. and here's like, we're going to go from A to Z, but your job is to write story B and your job is to write story C.
Okay.
And it runs through like the 40, it's kind of like an alternate Earth history, like 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And there's a whole series of books and there's graphic novels on wild cards that would also be really interesting. But I had a better idea for Nine Princes of Amber.
Okay.
But it's kind of interesting how all these worlds with these writers are combined. Rant over.
No, that's
You
awesome.
can go on to your number 4. I apologize.
Okay. So I'm just gonna go in the order I haven't written. This is the one game in my 5 that I don't really have any game mechanics for because I don't know how this kind of game would work.
I got you. We can do it.
You can.
I'm hot today, man. I'm hot today.
Good. You can help this, Tim, because I got you into this. Not too long ago. I really want just the Dead by Daylight theme.
Yes.
To be able to take things over.
Okay, we got it, man. I got it already.
Yeah.
I got it already.
Good.
You ready?
Yeah.
It's like Spectre Ops or Fury of Dracula or Letters from Whitechapel.
Yes. Okay? Except that it would be the one in Spectre Ops is the hunter.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. But yeah, so Dead by Daylight is a video game where there's one killer trying to kill 4 survivors that are working together to complete an objective and get out. At least some of them to get out. Some people will die. It's such a simple theme. Anything that's with a Friday the 13th IP kind of thing could really be taken over with that Dead by Daylight theme. Yep. And I love Dead by Daylight so much. I really want to see it hit these other mediums and stuff. And
yes, so one thing I thought was interesting about that game. I was, for whatever reason, thinking about it. Was that game, as old as that video game is, it's still constantly having new stuff.
That is a dedicated development team.
Right. And they, instead of just doing Dead by Daylight 2, they just keep doing add-ons, which is better, in my
100%.
In my opinion. So yeah, that's what you do. You do you could even do a dual hidden movement game. So like everybody's tracking, but when you move into an area, I don't know how you do that because you have to announce like vaguely where you're at.
Sure.
Unless you're playing like you play Escape from Aliens in Outer Space style. Have you played that?
No, but I know what it is. Yeah.
So everybody's marking their own book on where they're moving, and then you occasionally have to call out potentially where you are. Mm-hmm. So then the killer, is kind of operating in the same way. So nobody really knows where anybody's at, but you might think you know where your friends are at.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a couple of different things you could do with it. You could just have it where the killer can see everybody and nobody can see where the killer is until he's right on top of you. I
almost feel like the killer would have to be very strong, but I almost feel like it should be the opposite, to where the survivors all see the killer. But the killer has to, because the whole point of Dead by Daylight is the killer has to find the survivors.
Oh, sure.
So the survivors know where the killer is, and they're working together to avoid him and complete their objectives, and he's kind of stumbling around trying to find them. But when he finds them, he's very powerful.
But then if you're going around to fix the generators, right, there's the potential that you make noise and
exactly. And a lot of the killers in the game have ways to, so the Trapper is one of the first killers in the game, so he might not know where the survivor is in the board game, right? He has to try to find him, but he sets up traps on certain spots.
It's easy.
That's what I'm saying. And then that reveals the survivor stuff.
Game.
I really want to see Dead by Daylight hit. But there's actually, on the Dead by Daylight forums, there are fans that have made some mock-up board games.
Okay.
And like we're showing people how to print it and all this stuff. And the games look really cool. They're not professionally made or anything, but the basic idea looks really cool.
Dude, we can do it.
Yeah,
we could do
just
it.
us.
We could do it. No, we could do it. We've got enough different. Basically, you could take a Spectre Ops board.
Sure.
Grid it out the same way, right? With numbers and letters.
Sure.
And you pop down some generators. And what you do is that the board is a generic landscape. And then what you've got is you randomly roll to determine where the generators are going to spawn. Mm-hmm.
Well, what's that one game, Tim, actually? Because this was the kind of game that when it came out, I was like, yeah, Dead by Daylight really needs to be a game. I can't remember. It's gonna pronounce it wrong and be super embarrassing. Off the top of my head is like Nyctophobia or something.
Nyctophobia.
Yeah, that Fear of the Dark.
Right.
Game.
Yeah, I haven't played that.
Have you seen how it plays though? Because that is
really
very Dead by Daylight. That whole oh man, the fact that the people are blind or whatever.
Right.
It's so cool. But again, I would almost do it the opposite. I like the idea of the killer having the hunt rather than the survivors.
Sure.
But Dead by Daylight. Fantastic game and should be a fantastic board game.
I agree. That's a good one. My next one I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
Because I watched the movies this week and another movie that actually got sued by John Carpenter because it was so close. But I love the new movie a lot. and that is Snake Plissken with anything.
Oh.
Escape from New York,
Yes.
Escape from LA. There was a Guy Pearce movie called Lockout.
I actually like Lockout.
Lockout's amazing. I love
hate
Lockout.
that movie.
No,
I like it.
No, they are wrong. They are wrong. You heard it here. Those people are wrong.
Yeah.
Lockout's really good.
Part of it though is because I love Guy Pearce, but you know,
Fist bump right here. Fist bump right here. Guy Pearce, his huge teeth. Love him. He's got huge teeth.
Yeah.
Is what it is. Lockout's so good. But actually, the writers lost a lawsuit. John Carpenter sued them because it is essentially the plot from Escape from LA.
Sure. I've heard that a lot. That and like Die Hard, right? Like everyone always compares Lockout to those kind of things.
Yeah, I guess. Except that Snow from Lockout is not like John McClane in Die Hard, where he's like I don't have anything, and I've got to like figure this out. Like Snow is very capable, like badass that comes in and is like, I'm taking this out, I'm taking this out. Like he knows what he's doing. He's awesome.
It's something about, I haven't seen it in so long. It's something like Save the President's Daughter or something too. So
on a prison spaceship that is crashing into the earth.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. I
should have just called it like Escape From and then whatever the ship's name was.
Right. That way you would just save time on the lawsuit.
Yeah, exactly.
It would go through right away.
Go ahead, bring it on.
But so the idea is this is one versus everyone. Mm-hmm. Snake is trying to accomplish some goal, right? Get something, get somebody, and bring them to. Basically, he's got to get from this side of the board here and then back. Mm-hmm. And then everybody else is trying to get him and stop him. So whether it's Cuervo Jones or the Duke or any of these other like rando, cheesy John Carpenter, and I get it. I admit 100% they're cheesy, but I love it.
Some of the best stuff is.
You got the Surgeon General of Beverly Hills, played by Bruce Campbell. It's amazing. All these guys, going in, trying to stop him. But if you're Snake, I mean, you're just super tough to take down. Yeah. And you've got all these tricks to get out, everything like that. I would play Escape from anything, Snake Plissken.
Escape from anything.
The worst problem, the worst problem is that everybody's going to want to be Snake Plissken. And if you're not fighting to be Snake Plissken, you're also wrong because you want to be Snake. Right, or you're a Cylon.
Yeah. I will say after I did this list, like I usually do, I then went online to see what other people were saying. I wanted to see what's popular on the interwebs.
Ooh.
And a lot of Escape from LA's and Escape from New York's. That's a very popular opinion. I don't have a super strong connection with that movie series.
Okay, let me just say, if you ever dip your toe, the Escape from New York is really better in concept than it is in reality. It's a dated, low-budget, 1980 movie. Mm-hmm. It's good, but you have to be ready for some of the campiness and some of the goofiness. But Snake is such an awesome character that you're like, I'm in. I mean, really, right? Metal Gear.
Yeah.
Is inspired by Snake.
Yeah, no.
He totally evolved into that character, Plissken. But then Escape from LA has like 3 sequences where the effects are so terrible. Like you thought the Alien 3 alien looked bad.
Yeah.
Actually looks better.
I don't know,
than
man.
the effects.
If you pause Alien 3 in certain scenes, the alien is literally a blob with disconnected limbs that's just being dragged across the screen.
Sure, but let me just say that if you pause the surfing scene in Escape from LA...
I actually know what you're talking about. Yeah,
it's that bad. Yeah. It'd be like if my kids drew something like on a piece of paper and just hung it up behind this, and then I'm just going, it's that bad.
But you're Kurt Russell.
But you're Kurt Russell, so it's automatically a million times cooler, right? So, but yes. So if you can get past those, there's 3 scenes in my brain all the time that I'm like, okay, just get through this. Now we're back to a good part of the movie. And it's just fun to watch him be a smart aleck.
Sorry for the blasphemy.
But
New York is the one that's genuinely regarded as better. One of them is regarded as much better.
New York is regarded a million times better.
Okay.
I just rewatched LA and I'm like, no, this isn't as bad as I remember.
Sure.
But again, you get past those 3
I did that
scenes.
a couple years ago with Temple of Doom, and I was very happy to see that it was not as bad as I remember.
Okay, hold on real quick. Listen, here's the problem with Temple of Doom. Mm-hmm. It could be just as great as The Last Crusade if you take out Kate Capshaw and put in any other female actress.
I don't think so.
She is so annoying.
No, she
and
is.
terrible.
I just don't think that's the only problem. Like,
That's my only problem. I love Short Round.
I love Short Round. I quote him all the time, which I won't do now.
Right.
But no, I just think that the plot is the least relatable to most people, right? Those stones as opposed to the Grail and the Ark.
Secretly a prequel.
Yeah, secretly a prequel, which confuses everyone the first time they see it. And even that in the universe doesn't make sense. Like in Temple of Doom, he like reaches for his gun for an inside joke as the first one, but this happened first. So like, you know, it's just, I don't know, it's just weird. And a lot of people think it goes over the top with the eating scenes and stuff to where the other movies didn't feel the need to like do that. I'm just saying that it's the least like the other movies. I would almost Crystal Skull is even more similar to the other two movies.
Yeah, but I watched Temple of Doom a million times.
Me too, 100%.
I would marry Kate Capshaw if it meant I never had, like, if it erased Crystal Skull from existence.
Yeah. And awesome opening too. For Temple
of Doom. Opening for Temple of Doom is so good.
Yeah.
It is so good.
So good. Harrison Ford in a white suit.
It's just
the
only way it could be better is if it had like Guy Pearce and Snake Plissken and replicants.
Well, you wouldn't know if they were replicants in there, though.
So they might already be.
Okay. Next one.
Yeah, your turn.
Super simple. I've actually talked about this quite a bit, I think, on camera recently, because I've talked about how, yes, there are games with this IP, but no one talks about them, so they must not be that good. I've also never played one. But no one talks about any Doctor Who themed games. And it just annoys me that the IP is so huge and the couple games that it has, no one talks about.
Not a ton of them. And not.
So I don't know if it's just because they're older and so they're not getting talked about anymore or what. But so my basic idea for Doctor Who, and maybe this, once again, maybe there's a game like this out there that just isn't being talked about for some reason, but I would do it almost like a Time Stories kind of thing, where it's a scenario-based, easy thing, Doctor Who Time Stories, but it's scenario-based thing, not with the going back, because that's not themed with Doctor Who at all, but just the idea of scenario-based, where, okay, something bad happened in this scenario, Marcy case, something bad happened, we're going back. The thing that interests me a lot is that the characters would have, like, statistics, right, like charisma and intimidation and stuff like that. And so let's say it's a 2-player game. I pick any doctor I want, 1 through 13. Right. You pick any companion you want.
Sure.
You know, K9. Exactly. Sure. Any companion you want, and then we go into this scenario, and our stats are different. Sure. So like me playing Capaldi, who has like a higher intimidation, for instance, and you being Martha Jones, is going to play that scenario out way different than me being Tennant, who has a way higher charisma. I would say, I was going to say that, but then I almost think charisma would be more towards Matt Smith.
I don't like Matt Smith.
Okay. but and then you being Rose, right? Yeah. Like the scenario would play completely differently based off. So do we hook up
at the end of that one? That would be awkward.
I'm okay with that. You mean in-game or?
I mean, I don't
know. But so I really like this scenario-based, going back to fix things with your characters, and it can be more than 2-player because there can be multiple companions.
Well, and that would give you so much replayability, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Honestly, other than Tennant, I would always want to be Tom Baker.
Exactly. So I think most people.
Everybody's going to want to be Tom Baker, right?
But you'd have those few people that are Davidson. Like, I want to be. I can't remember his name. The 8th Doctor. The guy who was only in the movie. Whatever.
Yeah, played by.
You're gonna have those people that are like, I want to be him.
You know what? And he actually was not that bad of a doctor.
No, yeah, I don't think so
Roberts
either.
Was a terrible master.
Sure,
I'm a nerd because I could pull that right up.
No, I know what you're talking about.
But he was really cheesy and kind of dumb. Mm-hmm. But I can't think of that guy's name. He's in Alien 3. I don't
honestly think I know his name.
He's in Alien 3. He's the crazy guy. Remember the guy that's like babbling about seeing the alien?
What?
Yes,
that's him.
That's him. That is him.
Wow.
The same guy. Now, those might be the only 2 things I've ever seen him in.
Yeah.
But that's him.
Okay. But yeah, I want a good Doctor Who game, and I think a scenario-driven, cooperative, where one person plays doctor, the other people play companions, and they have to kind of solve the scenario in Time Stories-esque fashion, but without the going back.
See, I love this idea.
I love this idea. I really want that.
Because then, what about this, though? What if it doesn't work and you fail? Well, now you've got to go back and find a different combination of doctor companions
it could almost
to go and do.
Yeah, well, not even just that, but it could almost be, this is getting more in-depth, I guess, but it could be almost that the thing has branching storylines, right? So you go back in this scenario, and if you fail option A of that scenario, it then branches, and you have to fix option A by fixing B or something like that.
Right. Well, and there's a Tainted Grail aspect here, right?
Okay.
So Tainted Grail, you encounter a potential story, and it might say, if you have this, do A.
Oh, sure.
this character is in your group, do B, right? So you may get in there and maybe you've got Amy Pond.
Exactly.
And it like, boom, the automatically.
Like, so Martha's a doctor. So
changes.
So
right.
if you're in a scenario where that would help, yeah, it could be like if Martha Jones is in your party,
right,
you get to move down this street kind of thing. Yeah, I love.
Oh, it's a great idea. I'm in. Sold.
Okay.
I'm in. That's great. I love it.
I'm working on it.
I love it. Make it happen.
Yeah.
Because we've got. I mean, we're filming now. So when's this happening?
No time.
No time.
Yeah, now is happening.
Right. Now is happening. Now is now. Well, when was that? That was then.
That was then. This is now.
So my number 3. I've just re-dove into these books. I've never finished the whole series because there's like 13 of them, and I don't know if I ever will. But I own the first 6 books. I'm on the 4th one right now. Wheel of Time. Heard of Wheel of Time?
Nope. You asked me about books I don't know, man, just so you know.
I know. Okay, look. Robert Jordan.
My sister right now is watching, though, like, I know all these books.
Right. So Robert Jordan wrote this book called The Wheel of Time. It's a cycle. There's ages. There's repeating. The dark one is locked away in, I forget where. And there are these seals that have bound him in. Yeah. And these seals are breaking. Mm-hmm. And the hero that is supposed to arrive and save the world is called the dragon. But the problem is that sometimes when the dragon is reborn in some cycles, because it's a wheel and there's cycles, sometimes he's crazy and it doesn't work, and he just goes nuts and he dies, and then you got to wait for the next cycle.
Sure.
Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, so Wheel of Time, there's all these different factions and people are trying to manipulate and orchestrate things. So my idea for this game is that you are playing a faction and you are trying to manipulate and get influence with the dragon as he is coming into his powers so that then he is on your side.
Sure, and the dragon's just like an AI thing that moves around or something.
Yes, that kind of moves around the board. And so like maybe there's one faction that's just straight up trying to kill him. Mm-hmm. And then so everybody else is like trying to protect him, but at the same time do so with gaining influence, but not like, because the other thing is he's very aware of like trying to not be manipulated. Yeah. Like in the stories. So by protecting him sometimes you might push him away from you because he's like, well, I don't want anything to do with you and I'm not going to be controlled by you. So he starts going the opposite way.
Yeah. Don't want to push him too far.
Right. Yeah. So there's sort of like this press your luck aspect with it where you're trying to influence him without seeming like you're influencing him.
Sure. I love it.
That's my game.
I love it. That's gonna be a tough thing. How the influence is gonna work on him, like a tough mechanic, right? But awesome.
Why
idea.
I'm not a game designer?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm an idea guy.
Yeah, I love the idea of both of us though. Just tend to love games where there's a bunch of different asymmetric factions.
Oh, totally. 100%.
So yeah, that kind of thing with just all these different factions trying to like impact one AI uncontrollable thing that's moving around. That's interesting.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, thanks.
I got credit for that.
Yeah.
Check. Yeah. I'm out, guys. I peaked.
Dan said thanks.
Dan said thanks. Okay, what you got? What's your number 2?
So,
no crossover yet.
No there's not going to be.
There will not be now.
Yeah, no, there won't be. So this one was kind of tough because my idea is very simple. Okay. And I don't know if it fits what people want this IP to be.
Sure.
But I think it'll be fun.
Sure. Let's hear it.
So The Matrix. Okay. I want a good Matrix game, man. And the simplest way I can think in my head to do a cool Matrix game, again, with all your faction kind of things, is almost like an asymmetric Root style game. So I don't want to say Root because everyone loves Root, but I just like this asymmetric style.
I have an asymmetric style Root game coming up. And an IP that you'll be like, what?
So the robots, the Sentinels, are trying to find the humans and kill the humans, right? So they're trying to find Zion or something like that.
Sure.
You then have the faction of the humans who are trying to protect Zion, but then also have to do something inside the Matrix.
Oh, right? I thought you were going to say they also are trying to hold like this huge rave.
Yes.
And they don't want...
Bunch of slow motion
the worst
sweating.
Part of the movie.
Yeah.
Sorry. I really like the series, but that's
it's
pretty...
fine. And then so the good guys are trying to protect Zion, but then also they have to do something in the Matrix, right? I don't know. Right. Pick a movie and they have a goal they have to move towards in the Matrix. I love the idea of Agent Smith being his own faction who's just going around assimilating everyone.
Yeah, so like he's done.
So yeah, so like I just love the idea of, so if you leave some of your weaker units alone, Agent Smith can move in there and just turn them into more Smiths. And then he's like populating the board with like all these Smiths and becoming a real problem. Everyone has to team up against him eventually.
I like it.
And then I like the Merovingian could even be his own faction, right? With his own little manipulative goals and stuff. Like I love the idea of all these different asymmetric factions, like we were just talking about, all trying to do their goal, almost not villainous style, but that like you're trying to complete your goal kind of regardless of what everyone else is doing. But then you also have to kind of team up and stop them. I
have a game, completely different IP that is going to play with very similar mechanics.
But so that's the thing I kind of thought of for the Matrix, is some kind of asymmetric thing where you're on this board and it's just really clear everyone's trying to complete their goal. I like the idea that the humans are kind of turtling in Zion. I like the idea that the Sentinels are hunting, and I like the idea that Smith is assimilating. They're all very different mechanics. Now, should Neo, Morpheus, and Trinity, the Trinity, be a separate faction? They're the ones trying to complete the overall goal in the Matrix, but then that would have them going up against the humans. I
don't think you need that.
I don't think you need. There could just be hero units in that faction that they're sending out or something. But I don't know honestly if they're. Again, I'm not as big in the hobby as maybe you and Spencer and some other people. I can't think of a single Matrix game.
I can't either.
So I
think of some bad video game.
I can think of some good Matrix video games. I love most of the Matrix video games, even the bad ones.
That's fair. That's fair. I am guilty of such
Path
things.
of Neo is so fun. It's absurd. You're fighting giant ants, but that game is incredible. Okay, The Matrix, guys. Why isn't there a game of this? Make a game of this. Maybe use this basic idea. Maybe come up with something better.
There may be, because aren't they? I thought there's something Matrixy in production.
They're working on a Matrix 4.
So
whether it's going to happen or not, who knows? But they said they were working on it.
Should that come to fruition, there is a chance, right? Because
get that IP popular again.
Right.
There
is a chance.
Absolutely.
There is a chance. And this hobby now is kind of like one of the other platforms. And it's probably easier to develop a board game than it is a video game.
Sure. Yeah.
I say that as someone who does not develop video games. Either. Correct. I do not develop either, but I would guess.
Matrix.
Right. My number 2, also based on a series of books.
What? No way.
Weird. The Gunslinger, the Dark Tower series.
Okay.
Heard of them?
Yes, I know this one.
Okay. Yes. Perfect. So the idea behind the Dark Tower, right, is the Dark Tower is at the center of the universe. This seems to be like a running theme.
Yeah, wow.
And there are beams of reality that support the Dark Tower, and there are breakers trying to break the beam. And then there's Roland Deschain and his gunslingers as they're trying to save the Dark Tower. That's the short, very simple version. I don't really have specific mechanics for this, but it would be a co-op game where you are either Roland or Eddie or Suzanne or the little kid. I forget his name now.
Don't look at me.
Basically, you're playing as characters from the Dark Tower, trying to defeat the Crimson King and Flag and the other villains. Like
you mean McConaughey?
Man. Oh boy, I haven't even brought myself to watch that movie yet.
Me neither. Only because I heard it was so bad.
I know, and I love Idris Elba. Like I was they cast him as Roland. That will be amazing. And then honestly,
and the trailer makes him look amazing too.
McConaughey should be a really good Randall Flagg because of the way that character is.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, if you are a nerd, me, and you read all these other Stephen King books, there's all these Dark Tower references, like through all the books. And like, so even some of the other villains, Flagg spoiler alert, pops up in a bunch of other books as variations of himself, of Randall Flagg. They usually have the initials of RF, like the character.
Oh, got it. His name's not always the same. Okay.
Correct. And he doesn't always look the same, but if the initials are RF, it is Flagg, just so you know.
Cool.
But the villains or the monsters in those books are forms of the breakers, like breaking down reality and things like that. So it's
going to be an asymmetric
co-op where we're trying to defeat the Crimson King, you see.
Okay.
No, but we're going to try to work together. Series of tasks. I don't know. I don't know what the specific mechanics would be.
Reckoners style?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Haven't played Reckoners.
Oh, okay. Weird.
Brandon Sanderson.
Thought you would have played it.
You know, it's funny.
Hey, that's a book series, in case you were wondering.
Right. You know what? Brandon Sanderson, the guy who wrote that, took over the Wheel of Time series after Robert Jordan died.
Look at
Yes.
that. Full circle.
Symmetry.
Full Wheel of Time.
Wheel of Time. Your turn.
Oh, I
for
forgot.
number one.
So I
don't blow it. This is number one.
I was about to say. I was actually about to say this is by far my worst one. Probably should have put these in order and not just read them the way I wrote them.
Wah, wah.
So it's not that it's the worst one. It's just it's one that not only has a game out, but it has a game that I actually like quite a bit. I just want more.
Confused.
Yeah, it's because I want more. It's the only one.
Okay.
So
Highlander. There can be only
XCOM.
one. Okay.
I want more XCOM stuff. XCOM is a super interesting universe, and while I like the XCOM game a lot, it does get complaints from fans saying you took the most boring aspect of the video game and made it
your board game,
and made it the game. And while that's true, I think they did it really well. I think they captured that really well.
Yes.
But yeah, so why isn't there an XCOM miniatures game yet?
Please.
Like I'm just saying, like that's the obvious way to make a board game for XCOM. Yeah, exactly. You get your units, you level them up. They have to go through training. That you're going into these scenarios against these aliens that obviously another person can play. Right? Yeah, campaign style. I even probably totally impossible. I actually think it'd be super interesting to make it also so it's like a little standalone game that's awesome miniatures game, but make it also be able to link into the normal board game where you're working together in this board game and you're doing all this stuff, blah blah blah, and then when it gets to the squad stuff, the squad leader actually has to do the miniatures game and actually play this. Now, it would have to be a shortened version. You don't want to play XCOM and then add an hour, just for one round.
An hour? You mean like 2 hours?
Oh, no. That's why I'm saying make it a simpler version, right?
Sure.
So cut it down, but instead of just saying, oh, my unit has this symbol that matches this symbol, we won. I think that it would be cool to have the squad leader have an actual thing that's more thematic to do. I know that sounds totally impossible, but in the least, give us a really good campaign-style miniatures game of XCOM.
Like Descent or Imperial Assault.
Begging for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's just the blinding mechanics that are in it, like what your soldiers can see in the game, and the game is literally a board game. It's dice rolling. You have a 13% chance of hitting this guy. Okay, so that's roll whatever dice equals 13%. Right. Whatever. Have it written down.
I don't do math, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
But the universe is begging for it, and I don't know if it's because of who owns the rights and they're just not interested, or the other XCOM board game didn't make enough money, and so they're mad about it. I thought it did pretty
well. I mean, they put out an expansion for it.
Yes, there was. I still haven't played it too, but it looks cool.
Yeah.
It does seem to expand on the squad leader stuff, which is what I was talking about.
Yeah, a few more units.
But yeah, I think not only I want, but most XCOM fans, even the ones that didn't like the other game, really want an XCOM miniatures game. The alien the alien units are so interesting.
Yes.
And the powers they can use, and then you can give your guy enhancements. I can't remember what it's called in the game, where your guys now have psychic powers and stuff. You can send them to a special school that gives them the alien powers, and that universe is incredible.
Yep.
And just do it.
It's done. Do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Yeah. All right, Shia LaBeouf. Calm down. All right.
That's my number one. XCOM. Just do it.
My number one is so left field.
Uh-oh.
But it is a property that everybody's heard of.
Okay.
Lightning Dogs.
Oh, no, yeah. Lightning. I love Lightning Dogs.
No. This was the first one that came to mind.
Are you doing Thundercats?
Nope.
Oh, man.
This is the first one to come to mind. Actually, I didn't do Thundercats because I thought you might.
I didn't do Thundercats, but I thought you might. So it would be in my top 10 easily.
Sure. This was the first game I thought of, the first IP I thought of, where I'm like, I need a game for this. It's based on one of my favorite movies from the 80s as a kid. I was way too young when I saw. Paul Verhoeven's RoboCop.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Give me RoboCop all day. So first I was like, just make it a legendary style game, right? So it's a deck builder, blah, blah, blah. You don't even need specific things. You've just got Lewis and Murphy and various other cop cards that you're trying to recruit to your, you buy to your deck. And then you're fighting Kane and Clarence Boddicker and OCP officials, Ed 209, so on and so forth. See, I'm such a nerd that I like all the villains from all the different RoboCops.
All good.
Splatterpugs.
All good, you nerd.
RoboCop 3, not great.
Yeah.
But then I was like, what if you did better than just a card game?
Sure.
Because RoboCop has like cool imagery and would beg to be made into miniatures because I'm a miniatures fiend. So initially I was like, you haven't played Wildlands?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you have?
I did.
So I was like, oh, you could do like a Wildlands style game, right? So you've got Detroit. And so RoboCop is going around trying to catch Clarence Boddicker and the other bad guys, where maybe the OCP, which is the corporation that owns police force, has got like an Ed 209 that's going around trying to do things. And so you might be... And then I was like, wait a minute. Like Wildlands would be interesting, but what if you had a root style system?
Hey, I forgot. You said you were going to bring this up.
You have these different factions that all play completely differently and have different goals, but you can't, like Villainous in a way, let someone run away with getting their own goal done, right? So you've got to do your own goal. So RoboCop is trying to his faction is trying to clear the streets of crime. OCP wants crime to get so badly that then they can level Detroit and make the new city that they want to build, right? Clarence Boddicker and his gang, Clarence Red Foreman, the dad from that 70s show, right? His gang is trying to get crime really high, and so he can control all of Detroit, right? All the crime syndicates. But then there's also Kane, who him and his band of miscreants are trying to sell nuke because that's the drug of choice in RoboCop 2. And so they're doing all of that. Let's see. Yeah, so OSP, Clarence Boddicker, All right, yeah, that's it. So everybody's got their own things. Yeah. I just had to make sure I hit like all my things. So everybody's working on different goals through the map. They're trying to do their own thing, but if you hyper focus on your own thing and not paying attention, if I'm not paying attention to you, because you're obviously evil, you could win before I could win. So I've got to then interfere with you, which slows down me trying to, just go and do what I want. But then you still, and then there's other factions fighting. So excited.
I think the two things we've realized here, though, is because I was also going to say this, I'm glad you brought it up, was yes, all 5 of the games I said, maybe not Dead by Daylight, would make a really good legendary game. Oh, sure. But I want more. I want more than that. Now, do I also want a legendary game with these? Sure. Like those games are good. But I want more, Yeah,
you could do a legendary version with any of mine.
Yeah. And so that we learned, legendary, get on it. But and then the other thing is, all these things with really deep universes, with well thought out stories and stuff, we need more asymmetric games, man. We need more root style, vast style games. They work so well. It has been proven. We just need to get those games to get IPs.
Sure.
Like that's what we need, I think. Those are going to sell like hot cakes.
Right. Hey, remind me after we do our Facebook poll things, I got to talk about the games I played this week. And I forgot to do that at the top, which I normally do.
Yeah.
So that's it, right?
That's it.
RoboCop is by far my best one.
Aren't you going to run into the same problem in that game as Escape from LA, though, or Escape from New York, where everyone's just going to say, well, I'm being RoboCop?
Oh, no, I'll be Clarence Boddicker all day.
Really?
Man.
Okay.
Or Ed 209. You know Ed 209?
Right. You're right.
I mean, see, there's enough cool things. You could even do the evil robot version of Kane at the end of RoboCop 2. Yeah. Or you could be RoboCop 3 where you got the jetpack. Nobody really wants to be the Joel Kinnaman reboot of RoboCop.
Sure.
But I would play the Michael Keaton character out of that all day. If you find a way to implement it. Just because it's Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what are some stupid games? Multiplicity, right?
Oh, wow.
So, Multiplicity, the game, you're too busy. It's a worker placement game, right? You've only got one worker to start off with. Everybody does. So, you got all these actions you need to do. So, what do? You clone yourself. But that worker's not as good and can't get the full benefits of this space. But you still need more workers. Well, Michael Keaton, your main worker, is already cloned himself. He's not interested in cloning himself again. So the other clone then goes and clones himself, and he's worse.
Yeah.
Until you get that really goofy, like sideways hat wearing, like childlike Michael Keaton character in Multiplicity. Yeah, that's it. That's the game.
That's funny.
Right. I love that.
That's funny.
That movie's a guilty pleasure.
Sure.
All day. I'll watch that movie all day. Or if you want to do another Michael Keaton movie, you could do Mr. Mom.
Yep.
You've got these kids. Your wife goes to work. And so now you've got to manage this household.
Is that what you want to play, Tim?
No, I'm just saying.
When you have free time.
I will just go through all of Michael Keaton's movies. So then there's Jack Frost, where you die but then become a snowman. And you need to help your family through whatever they were going through with that terrible
You are right, though. There needs to be more Michael Keaton. Like, why isn't there any Batman board games?
What?
That's a joke.
Wait, what? I'm confused. No, I thought about, seriously, instead of making a real top 5, I thought about doing all these very like terrible top 5s.
Yeah.
Like Multiplicity was like the first one.
I was going to say Multiplicity is actually not a terrible idea. I don't know how well it would sell, but like having a worker placement game where you're cloning your workers, but they get worse over time is actually clever. Like I like that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. The rest though, could you stop talking?
That's 2 compliments.
Yeah.
And, well, of course I ruin it by talking further.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But yeah. So I really thought about like as a joke, or the other thing trying to do would be like, okay, so everybody is a different faction and you got your own board. And then you are trying to act out scenes from your own movie while everybody else is trying to do the same thing, but you've got to get yours done first.
Got it.
It's villainous.
Yeah, I know it is villainous.
No, so I was just going to pitch games that already existed.
But just put a different theme on it. Well, I guess that's not even a different theme. See, I thought you were going to say like, "Oh, I'm Inception and you're Fight Club." I'm just naming movies I like, and you're trying to finish a movie, but you were just joking. I hate you.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. I got you though.
Yeah, you did. I got you. Did. At first, I was like, "Weird." He's just retheming villainous. And then I thought about it. I was like, "No, that is villainous."
Well, the other problem with doing a whole like fake list is after the second one, you'd be like, "None of these are real," right? Like,
exactly.
So
you'd have to only do like 2 fake ones and then switch back to real.
And I had too many good ones.
Yeah.
That I was excited about.
You read too many books.
I do. I read a lot. So Facebook polls.
Yes.
I went on to Meeple Game Society, threw up a poll. I went to 2 different Facebook groups that I'm on.
I actually did look at it this week too.
Did you?
Yes. I don't remember much. I remember the top 2.
So the top 5, actually there is a 4-way tie.
Oh, really? Then I didn't look at it recent enough.
So the number 1, well, we'll go 5-1.
Yeah.
5-1.
Come on, 5-1.
So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 2 all got the same amount of votes.
Okay.
So Sliders.
Yep.
Right?
I saw
Good
that.
show, time traveling.
Yep. Time travel gets me in.
Good stuff. Skyrim.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls in general. I almost put it on here. It's just that I don't enjoy them as much as other people, but it's a universe that I accept needs something like that.
Morrowind and
Morrowind was actually my favorite.
Daggerfall.
Oh, Daggerfall. I never played that one.
I'm old.
Yeah, Morrowind was my favorite.
Yeah, Morrowind was awesome. But yeah, there's so many things you could do in this. One that I threw up there on the list and really wanted, but I had too many other things I was excited about. But this would be like maybe my number 6 or 7. The A-Team.
Yeah.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Exactly.
Man.
You have to say that at the end. That's an amazing one for a cooperative game.
Oh, here's the problem, though, Mr. T.
Oh, really?
I will fist fight people.
Are you kidding me? I'll be Liam Neeson any day.
So you're Hannibal.
I said Liam Neeson. Yell at me.
No, Liam Neeson was really good as Hannibal.
Awesome.
Right? And then our boy from District 9.
Yeah, Face, dude.
No.
Sorry, not Face. Yeah, the crazy one. Hold on. Charlton Copley. Just had to give me a second. I love him. And then Bradley Cooper is Face. Yeah.
Face, but what's Charlton Copley's
his
real name? Murdoch.
There you go. You just said, what's his real name? It's Charlton Copley.
It's Murdoch.
Okay, gotcha.
The funny thing in that movie that I loved that they did in the movie, which is actually an underrated movie. That movie's not bad. It's fun.
It's really good for a adaptation.
Is when Murdoch is going and doing a thing and he's like bluffing somebody and he pretends to be South African and he just speaks in his regular voice instead of his American accent.
Yeah.
I was like, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I love it. That's like a little joke, I'm like, I got that. I saw what you're doing there. Number 2, Escape from New York.
Yep.
I was right.
Yep.
But I thought you broaden it to anything, right? Because there's a series of comic books. There's like Escape from Cleveland, Escape from Florida.
Yeah, I'm kind of amazed no one ever said Escape from, Florida. That's big. Okay, it's L.A. and New York and then Florida.
Florida's that bad.
Okay.
In the comics, there is a cult group that is threatening to set off a series of nuclear devices along the panhandle because they think that if they detonate those, then Florida will float off into the ocean.
Wow.
Not how science works.
Yeah, I was about to say no scientists on that team.
None.
Yeah.
But
a lot of idea men.
A lot of idea. Look, dudes, let's do this. But yeah. So, but the Pliskin thing, you could do anything, right? And you could even have modules where there's different areas. Then the number 1 was...
So the number 1, I didn't put on my list, and neither did you.
Right.
But I definitely thought about it.
Yep.
I have a specific reason why I didn't. What is number 1, Tim?
Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica.
An amazing board game.
Fantastic board game.
Way out of print.
That does need
super expensive. You could just reprint it and
as is.
And its existing expansions as is and make no modifications.
Yep.
There was some controversy because everybody's like, Dark Moon! Dark Moon is the reprint for Battlestar.
No, Danny. No. I love Dark Moon. Battlestar Galactica is far superior. Far superior.
Dark Moon is BSG Light.
Mm-hmm.
It is
LITE too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like drinking a diet soda.
Yeah.
when you really want a bottle of bourbon.
Yeah.
Just no comparison. Dark Moon's really fun. Dark Moon is a very good.
I own it.
It's fun game. Battlestar Galactica is tense, sweaty. It's nerve-wracking. There's so much tension and pressure. Battlestar Galactica is totally warrants a reprint.
It does. The only reason on my list is because there's a part of me that really likes the fact that I have a game that's so hard to find. so like, while
selfish
I know. It's just, it feels nice that it's one of my favorite board games and it's really hard to get and I have it. Thank you. The person who got it for me.
But, you're welcome. Wasn't me.
No, it wasn't you.
No, I tried to help you get a copy, but then you already had one.
I know, you got it like a day late.
That's
you were like, I have this. And I was like, ooh.
All right.
No, Battlestar Galactica is fantastic. Hard to find. Not even hard to find. Super expensive.
So funny enough, the other Facebook group that I posted in, completely different list.
That's cool. I obviously didn't see this one.
Completely different list. So there is a smallish board game podcast I listen to called Board Game Mechanics. The people that run it and that do it are super nice, very friendly, inclusive, wonderful people. I listen to them all the time. They pick on me all the time because I love minis and they notoriously don't love games with minis. Huh. I wouldn't even say notoriously, but they just like games. They think the minis are unnecessary. You're wrong.
Depends on the
Jason.
game.
Depends on the game. But we have this very fun, like back and forth, all the time. They call me out on the show all the time, when they talk about stuff with miniatures and they're like, Tim, we know. So they have a Facebook group called The Riveted. So I threw it up on there for them. There was a whole bunch of different things. These were the top 5 vote getters. So tie for 5. So there's technically 6 because I thought that both of these were kind of funny. Iron Chef or G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe I saw a lot online. Yeah. So people are loving that.
That could be a good one.
Sure.
Number 4, there's technically a game, but there's not enough. Back to the Future.
Yes. I almost put that on my list. Again, this is blasphemy. I think those movies are overhyped. I like them, but I think they are not this insane cult classic. Oh. Yeah, I know. I
have a friend that will murder you.
Yeah, I know. And I just rewatched them.
He's not a gamer, though, so you're safe.
I just rewatched them this week, and they are better than I remember. Okay. But I still think, there are better time travel movies. Like, I just don't get it.
Yes.
But,
yes.
They're the only, funny, quirky
Here's my controversial statement about that franchise. Yeah. I don't love number 3.
Oh, really? I
like 2 better than 3.
I think most people like 3 the least, though.
I thought everybody liked 3 way more than 2. I thought 2 was the least popular.
Maybe in general, but...
maybe when they first came out.
The editor is saying no. Everyone I know likes 2 the most, actually.
Wait, so what's Jeff say? You say...
2's better.
2's better. Okay.
That's what I've heard.
I don't have to leave the show.
Here's my thing. I liked 2 a lot. I did like 1 a little bit more, though, just because the Biff future stuff in 2 dragged so much for me. It's not even a huge scene, but it dragged so much for me.
Sure.
That I was just like, I liked 1
oddly
more.
Parallel to predominant figures right now.
Sure.
So I don't want to get into that. But no,
yes,
it's
it
fine.
needs it.
I would love like a really good Back to the Future
1
game.
just came out, and I'm waiting to hear good reviews. A Back to the Future game literally just came out. Yeah,
because I've got the card game, but I haven't played it yet.
I don't remember what it's called. Sorry, but I remember like a bunch of reviews are coming out right now for it.
All right. So well, let's come back to that one. Number 3, Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I almost put it on my list because it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Raiders is the perfect movie.
Here's my problem with it. There are so many games that are similar enough to Indiana Jones right now. Like the one that you love, right? It's Indiana Jones. where you travel around the world and fight Nazis and
Fortune and Glory.
Fortune and Glory.
Right.
It's Indiana Jones.
I'm saying that doesn't count though.
It doesn't.
I want Harrison Ford's mug.
Yes.
On my game box.
That'd be fantastic.
I want Belloc. I want Sala. I want Marion.
Dude, I could have made a top 5 list of just Harrison Ford movies. I'm not kidding. I was going through and I was like, Air Force One. I'd like a game of that. The Fugitive. I'd like a game of that.
Sure.
Like, I was just going
That's not as cool as my list of Michael Keaton movies.
Sure. It's not as cool, but it's better.
Probably. Get off my plane.
Dude, don't even. I can quote that whole movie.
Right?
Don't get me started. Baseball glove.
Okay, calm down. So, Indiana Jones. Yes, Fortune and Glory exists. But I want a Raiders.
Yes.
I want a Temple of Doom.
Another game, by the way. I know we can say this for everything. That would work incredibly as a legendary game. Indiana
totally.
Jones.
Totally.
Yeah.
And totally room for expansions.
Yeah.
You could get into young Indiana Jones, and then you've got a couple seasons of jump
and
there.
there's so many books. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Number 2, this one I thought was funny that it got some votes because it is a relatively newer thing. What We Do in the Shadows. I don't know how you would make it a game.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I would play it because I love that movie and I love that show.
I haven't seen it yet. I know I would love it.
You would absolutely love
just watching the trailers and stuff. I was like, man, I'd
watch the movie and then get on Hulu or whatever and watch the shows. They're brilliant. They're so funny. I don't know how you make it a game.
Yeah, I don't
care.
From what I've seen, I have no idea.
I really don't. I guess what you could do is you live in this house of vampires. You're all roommates. And you have to lure people in and then maybe hide the bodies.
So Bloody In.
Yeah. Okay. Bloody In with different art.
Bigger and different art. Slightly more to it. Yeah.
Maybe. Bloody Inn's got a lot to it, though.
Is it? I've only watched it played, and it seems simple enough. So.
It's simple enough, but there's a lot of strategy hidden in there. Okay. Yeah, it's good. It's good. And number 1, shocking.
Oh, the Shocker from Spider-Man.
No, I thought you were going to say the movie Shocker, Wes Craven Shocker, which is like a terrible
never seen
80s horror movie.
Glad
no, don't ever watch it. No, Magnum P.I.
Wow.
Right?
Okay. So go from Indiana Jones to Tom Selleck, who was supposed to be Indiana Jones.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then you've got Indiana Jones and Tom Selleck, who then are represented by Chip and Dale, right? Because the one's got the leather jacket, the other one's got the Hawaiian shirt. Magnum P.I., I don't know what you would do exactly, but you get to get in the car, you get to wear really short shorts and a Hawaiian shirt.
It completes what we were asking for a couple weeks ago about more police games and stuff.
Maybe a mustache as a first player marker, you know? Something like that.
All the yes.
All the yes. So, yeah, Magnum P.I. got by far the most votes.
That's interesting.
Most votes.
You know?
One that I thought would get more votes and it didn't was Transformers.
That's really weird it didn't get a lot of votes because online and in the Facebook post, a lot of people were talking about Transformers, but they just didn't get the votes.
Or Thundercats.
So, yeah. What's Thundercats? That sounds like
Lightning Dogs.
That sounds like a weird ripoff of.
Well, see, there was this really good underground show called Lightning Dogs, and then they got over. Yeah, Lightning Dogs
because it's an electric guitar.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Dogs playing electric guitars.
No, I'm saying the theme song has to be electric guitar.
Oh, it has to
for obvious reasons.
Right. But that's our list.
Yes.
Before we go, I got to play some games this week.
Lucky
Super excited. I got to play Root.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I won.
And you won?
I beat James.
That's crazy.
I beat James.
Who were you playing as?
Super crafty. I was the Marquis de Cat. And he was the roost or the birds.
Yes.
The aviary.
Yes.
No, I won soundly.
Okay.
I accidentally disrupted his pattern that he needed to do.
His government collapsed.
He collapsed 3 turns in.
Yeah.
And I kind of was able to run away with stuff.
Yep.
And had some good draws.
Almost bought TTS just so I could play.
Some good draws.
Almost.
Then I played, then I got to play DC Deck Builder again with my sister and my wife. We played Isle of Cats. I won Isle of Cats finally.
Was this just let's end the show with bragging rights?
Yeah, I think so. Let's see, I won DC Deck Builder. I won Root. I won Isle of Cats for the first time. Mm-hmm. There's a light little card game we played called Llama. Did not win, but really like
Shouldn't have even brought it up then.
Shouldn't have brought it up.
Yeah.
Don't talk about
Didn't play Llama this week.
Didn't play Llama.
I lied.
What was the other game? We played one other game. Now I'm blanking on it. But I got to play a bunch of games.
Nice.
I was excited. Hope to do it again. For Sale.
Oh, For Sale. Okay, we talked about that.
For Sale. And I won that. So, high note. Going out on a high note.
Wow, look at me.
Did you play any games this week?
I played Alien RPG.
Yep. With who?
I don't remember. It was some people. And then I played. I've been playing a lot of Smite recently.
What's Smite?
It's a video game.
Oh, okay.
But I almost put it on this list because
as something you want.
As something, yeah, there should be a board game of, because it would be an incredible board game.
Sure.
But I just don't care enough right now. Basically, it's a MOBA. Right, so League of Legends, you know,
right.
There's a famous board game. Is it Here's the Land, Air, and Sea that people say plays like a MOBA or something, but I can't remember. But anyway, it's basically all the different pantheons of gods, Greek and Egyptian, and they just added Lovecraftian and all these different things, and you're just all fighting. And
I can dig it.
A great game.
Sounds fun.
But yeah,
Smite.
Yep, fantastic, and
only
free
on
to play.
PC?
No, it's on console and it's free to play.
What?
Yep, but if it's free to play, if you do the board game, if you do the free to play, it just randomly gives you 7 characters each week that you can choose to play from, and every week it rotates.
Sure.
If you pay $30, then you have access to everyone in the game and any god that comes out from here on out. There are currently like 150 gods in the game. Yeah.
Okay.
Fantastic game because it's free to play.
I like free.
Yep.
Free is really good. Well, guys, that's it, right? You got anything else?
That's
you got
it.
anything big?
I hate you.
Dan's leaving the show.
Sorry. I fed up.
Until he gets over this irrational hatred he has for me for some reason. Odds are he'll be back next week.
Odds are.
But yeah, that's our list. If you've got ideas or suggestions, go to the Meeple Game Society. Go to #TheRiveted. Check out the Board Game Mechanics podcast. They're good peeps. It's a fun show. It's pretty light, about a half hour.
Yep.
As they like to say, it's a pretty okay show.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty okay. Good people, very accepting groups, both of them, right? There's usually good, productive conversations going on in there.
Even the people that think Dark Moon is better than Battlestar Galactica.
Right. It's fine that Danny's wrong. It's fine.
It's fine.
We live in America.
Everyone's wrong
allowed
sometimes.
To be wrong. He's allowed to be wrong.
We all go a little wrong sometimes.
But that's what we've got for you. We will be back next week with some other... We haven't even worked on it yet. So
no, we haven't.
See.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. Yeah. It's chaos. It's chaos here.
It's chaos here.
Chaos.
Hey, I'll text you Saturday about what we should do.
That's right.
Next week's episode.
That's right. Saturday, midnight.
Yeah. Hey, what are we doing tomorrow?
Crap. No.
Well, yeah, we do that every week.
But we're always excited. We have even more effects and things appearing now because we have a super awesome editor and producer named Jeff, who is also correct when he agrees with me that Back to the Future 2. So we're good there.
Mm-hmm.
So for now, everything's great. We'll see what he...
Right, at least we have an intelligent editor.
Oh, no. That implies at one time we didn't.
No, it just implies that some people aren't as lucky.
Oh, okay. I like that better.
Yeah.
I was getting nervous.
Like, I used to edit my own videos.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
That's why you don't edit our videos.
Exactly.
Oh,
ouch.
Here we go. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in.
Yep.
We'll see you next week. Keep gaming.
Keep
I've
gaming.
been Tim.
I've been Dan.
Bye.
Adapted from the hit Michael Keaton movie, Multiplicity of the Board Game, coming soon!
Thanks for checking out the Board Game Rundown. If you like what you saw, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Share our videos on social media and spread the word. We publish new content weekly, including reviews, unboxing, and Let's Plays. And as always, thanks for watching.